is going to be deciding the fate of the Maharashtra politics. The Supreme Court is in all likelihood pronouncing a verdict on the pleas that are seeking the disqualification of the 16 Shinde faction MLAs today. Let me bring in my colleague Vinaya, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Vinaya, I'd like to understand from you, what is the headspace that the BJP-Shinde faction right now is in? What is the mood that you are actually sensing from that?
Well, as of now, what I can tell you is that the government looks relaxed. As of now, they tell us that they have the numbers with them. We have seen that for the last 2 to 3 days at least, several prominent political leaders have also given a statement to a similar effect. Just 3 days ago, Sharad Pawar said that whatever be the verdict of the Supreme Court, it will not have any impact on the stability of this government. BJP says it's quite confident that the number game is with it. Even if there is disqualification, in that case, Eknath Shinde may face the X. In that condition, there may be another candidate, or plan B is not something that they have discussed with the media so far. Obviously, everybody has plan A, plan B, plan C ready as of now. But looking at the number game, Maharashtra has 288. The House is 288 seats. The halfway mark is 145. That is the magic figure. We see that the current government enjoys the support of 164 MLAs, which is comfortably way above the halfway mark or the magic figure. What if 16 MLAs stand disqualified? Now remember, if they stand disqualified, excuse me, not just will 16 be deducted from 164, but it will also be deducted from 288, which means the denominator itself comes down, which again puts the Maharashtra government in a comfortable majority. The question is not really that. The question is right now, though, in this present petition, there is a prayer for disqualification of 16 MLAs. Remember, the same is sought in other petitions with respect to the remaining 24, because in batches, 40 MLAs went. And in case after these 16 MLAs, the same will be the fate of the remaining 24. That is the question that, the answer to which will throw up a googly in Maharashtra politics. Now we have seen that in Maharashtra politics, there are always 5 to 6 persons who are sitting on the fence. They are the independent MLAs. They jump over to whichever side the government is being formed. So as of now, even if we take off 40 and then change the denominator as well as the majority, it's possibly the BJP needing a very thin majority to reach the halfway mark, to reach the magic figure, which it still thinks it can muster, and that is why it thinks that there is no threat to the government. As of now, what we also hear politically from the Shiv Sena, though Shiv Sena of the UddhavThackeray faction, which has put forth these petitions in the court. Remember, the one thing that even the court had observed, and the one thing that will possibly go much against UddhavThackeray, is the fact that UddhavThackeray tendered his resignation even before the floor test, and that is why the Supreme Court had also famously asked as to how it can restore a government when the Chief Minister had himself resigned even before the floor test. That is the test of majority. So even if the Shiv Sena claims that it hopes that its government will come back to power, and several conjectures are being floated with respect to that, it looks quite difficult that the Supreme Court will turn back the clock to that extent, where a resigned Chief Minister will again be asked to come back and form the government. So as of now, both the BJP as well as the Eknath Shinde faction very clearly claim that they have the majority, that they will sail through. The Speaker of the House says that whatever be the judgment, the Supreme Court cannot impinge upon the rights of the legislature. The judiciary will have to keep the distinction very sacrosanct, and that is why the matter will have to be sent back to the Speaker, even if it pertains to the disqualification of the 16 MLAs, from where Rahul Narvekar says he will take it ahead once he returns from the UK. Now, the subplot in this really is the Deputy Speaker, who's Narhari Jirwal, who's from the NCP. He has claimed for the last few days that since he was the acting speaker when he decided on the disqualification of the 16 MLAs, when the Supreme Court decides on the matter, the question is, can it turn back the clock to an extent where it says that the presiding officer should be the one in front of whom the disqualification petitions were first put forth, which will bring it to Narhari Jharwal, who is the deputy speaker. That is what he claims. That is something that Rahul Narvekar, who is the current speaker, has completely denied, saying that when there is already a speaker who is in the position and who is officiating on the floor of the House, there's no question of any court intervening and giving the rights to a deputy speaker.
Vinaya, this point that you were making about Uddhav Thackeray resigning, despite the fact that he was supposed to be, going ahead with that floor test, he resigned. He had the majority nonetheless, and that question was also raised in the court as to the governor asking Uddhav Thackeray to prove his majority on the floor of the House, go ahead for the trust vote. This also was something that was raised, and a peculiar question was asked while the judgment in this particular case was reserved, that why not ask the party who's asking for the no confidence motion to go in for the floor test, why ask the government, which is in clear majority, which is no disquiet, to actually do so? Is that also going to be a major bone of contention?
Oh, well, clearly everything with respect to this current government and the way the previous government had to step down will come into discussion at this juncture. Though remember, the 10 key points on which the Supreme Court is going to give the verdict are majorly related to constitutional issues, the role of the governor, and on Schedule 10. Remember, the disqualification petition, the plea for disqualification is one of the prayers that have been given in the petition that has been moved by the Uddhav Thackeray faction, really. So right now, what the current government says is it enjoys the majority. It has proven it on the floor of the House. Remember, when the vote of confidence took place, and I recollect that moment very, very vividly, it was 164 as opposed to 99, which means the move was supported by 164 and it was opposed by only a 99. So the number difference in this is quite distinct and quite wide. In order for anybody to try and bridge that gap, there were abstentions, there were absentees. That was also a very famous time when several Congress leaders had remained absent from the floor of the House. They were sitting right outside the House,
yes,
but they did not remain present on the floor of the House, thereby bringing down the majority, the number of the MVS substantially to almost 99. So
yes,
all these issues will obviously come back into discussion yet again. As of now, though, the BJP and Shinde faction claim that they comfortably have the majority.
Okay.
The number
Vinaya, I request you to stay on with us. Let me also